Dear friends, I'm glad to see you again at channel Feigin Live. We're doing a new stream. It's called Day 42. We're doing it with Alexey Arestovych. Glad to see you. So, as always, regardless of that comment about me being too obnoxious, I do want to ask everybody to subscribe and to Alexey's channel. Interactive link is at the description of this video. Also subscribe to his channel. Each of our channels has different videos, not just our interviews. And please share that so other people get the most up-to-date information on the current situation in Ukraine. Alexey, so let's start. It is April 6th. What are the changes? Anything new? Any advancements on the front? From the notable changes, they started to push from the south and actually from the north too. They're trying to implement their plan on surrounding our troops in the joint forces operation on the Eastern Front. I wonder if they've listened to our cast, but yeah, they're working. Aviation, artillery, infantry, everything is rocking, rumbling, and they're trying to advance. Even in the north, they did manage to advance a bit towards Slavyansk and Kramatorsk. And there is a push on the south too. We did not expect it to be easy, but their concentration is 8 times over our numbers, so it's not going to be easy 2 weeks. I have to say that we have not forgotten, we have not abandoned our troops. Our aviation is working on them. They're working on us, we're working on them. So we'll see what happens, how it ends. Things will be decided ultimately on the battlefield. What about Kherson? Any changes there? One of the congressmen mentioned that there's about 20 miles to Kherson from the battles that are raging, and yeah, that person did comment a bit prematurely about our advancements there, but I'm not the person to announce too fast about or advertise our actions before they complete. And it's not an easy area to advance, actually. There are a lot of channels to cross, and then you also need to cross the river, which is difficult. So it is not fun for our troops to try to approach. And I have to mention that Russian command actually is taking practical measures to defend or to give away the city, to retreat. What does it include? What do these measures involve? Is it defensive positions, or they're putting mines? Not just that. You can also gauge their preparations by the way they arrange their forces, and their forces are getting ready for either a fight or possible retreat. Also, can we say that troops that were withdrawn from the north, from Kiev, Chernihiv, by the Russian Ministry of Defense, are they already entering the battlefield in the north and in the south that you mentioned? No. That would have been the record time for units to redress, rest, restock the weapon, the ammo, and the vehicles. That would have been too heroic. I mean, yeah, potentially they can order them to do that, but no. They would not even be able to get in place with all the loading, unloading to get relocated to that area. Maybe on the second or third wave, they will be able to join the action, but right now they have not had a chance to cross the distance and get there. They got their own mix of troops there, and it's not the ones withdrawn from Kiev. question from the foreign journalist. He said it was a goodwill action, decision made by Putin himself. So it's interesting, he was very quiet. Putin himself is very quiet. He does not want to attract attention or attract the blame for his actions. But Peskov basically stopped a discussion that he, I think, was having with Kadyrov about who made this decision. So a question, do you think this is the final, that's it in this direction? And this was a goodwill gesture? Or it's something else? Let me clarify a couple things. What about Sumy direction? Was it also a goodwill gesture, or did they get their butt kicked? So they withdrew from Chernigov and Kiev, but in Sumy we kicked their butt. But those first two are the gesture of goodwill. I was there, I was in those positions. I was shooting some videos, taking pictures. It looks like a brutal battlefield, and it appears that they did get their ass handled to them. There's a lot of equipment they left damaged. They lost about 40% of equipment and personnel during the retreat phase. And of course, they can keep creating these fairy tales, but there is also another side to that fairy tale, which basically says that Peskov directed or channeled the attention and rage of raging Russian internet users onto Vladimir Putin, because these people were online raging and rambling about who made this stupid decision to leave our positions. Well, now they know it was made by Putin. So they're asking questions, who ordered for all these people, all those tens of thousands of soldiers that died there. Apparently it is Putin. I'll actually make some arrangements so Peskov might get third-degree order for bravery from Ukrainian government, for personal bravery. I would actually give you the first order of that award, of that medal, but I'm sure I can arrange for the third one. And I think it's the top of your career, because it's very illustrious to channel the nation's rage onto the nation's current leader and tell them it was Putin who made these decisions. So whoever sees Peskov, please let him know that there is an award waiting for him at the presidential office of Ukraine. Alexey Arestovych will take care of that award being issued. I think actually some of Russian commanders should be given Ukrainian medals, because some of them probably got the whole Ukrainian hero order by the way they were commanding their troops, and many of them post-mortem. There is 165,000 people watching us. Thank you those who joined us. Please do not forget to share links to our cast in your accounts. Yeah, I had to mention, some people are saying it is a waste of effort to tell people to share. I need to mention that this is the algorithm. This is how that works. If you like and share, every like basically adds 10 additional views to this show in somebody's news feed. So if you like and subscribe, much more people will see this cast. So I wasn't sure if we need to talk about that, and it's not about our popularity, really. It's about sharing this information with citizens, with the Russian-speaking citizens around the world. And people need to understand that Putin is really the most dangerous, the biggest danger, not even to Ukraine, but to Russia. Much more dangerous than NATO or anything else. And I want to say we are rather popular with our podcasts here, and I know for a fact that there are some people watching us who hate us from the Russian government. They probably throw darts at the screen when they do that. But we do have some really good data here. So I did check on a couple of things. Zakharova, the speaker for Russian government and international affairs, she already is not denying the bodies. She is making other comments. So now we do have some videos that the drone was shooting, time when bicyclist was shot by the Russian armored vehicle, and the drone shooting of the streets where you can see the bodies laying in the same positions when they were found later. And the drone shooting was done on the 23rd. Yeah, I have to, it's ridiculous. Yeah, as if Ukrainians got there on the 19th of March, changed their uniform into Russian uniform, used Russian accents to talk to everybody, and executed a lot of people, pretending to be Ukrainians. Are we seriously discussing these versions? No, I'm not asking you, but it's a rhetorical question. There is a Ukrainian word that can be translated as the whole misery of the Russian regime is in the way it tries to cover its crimes. Look back at the Soviet Union, who killed millions of Afghanis, but also put hundreds of his own troops in jail for war crimes. This regime cannot even do that, and they would be losing their face, and they'll be all lining up to Hague Tribunal, but they would not even accept that some of their troops actually made these crimes. These are crazy people who cannot even calculate the simplest of media consequences. It means they're making these decisions without consulting each other, without developing a unified strategy, and they're just saying or stating whatever comes to their mind first. Probably because at first the ones who are saying that are the ones interfacing with the world, and they really do not have much support on the backside. Lavrov himself is an interesting figure. He's been in power for way too long, and he's very representative of Russian foreign policies. Not that he's a high qualified expert, more like he's just been there that long. And he now needs to somehow explain the behavior of their troops, raping 10-year-old kids, that Ukrainians did that to themselves. So they'll be pushed to the wall with these accusations, and international court, the United Nations or tribunal, will push them to the wall, and there'll be more facts that will actually show that they're war criminals. And their international criminal investigation started even before Bucha, about the bombs dropped on the maternity wards, about bombs dropped on the civilian buildings. So the list of crimes is piling up. And it's really just the weakness of United Nations these times that doesn't allow them to kick Russia out, as League of Nations did back in 1939 when Soviet Union attacked Finland. They just kicked them out. But I want to say that Russian top will start melting from ambassadors and politicians dealing with international relations. We already have information that a lot of Russian ambassadors are leaking data and approaching different sources and saying basically that it's not us, it's the crazies in Kremlin. Let us share some data with you. We'll tell you more, but we have nothing to do with these animals. Imagine you're sitting somewhere in New York, in Europe, in Beijing. You're far away from all that dirt. You're enjoying your position and power. People are talking to you. You're meeting high political functionaries of the dignitaries of the country you're in. Why would they need all that dirt? Why would they need all that blame that goes towards Russia now? They'll try to stay away from it as far as they can. And after them, there would be intel officers who will start leaking data and running and leaving that ship. Do you know why? You say because you know it. Well, because they're smartest and they collect all the data. Well, there is also another side to that, because ambassadors are essentially the external arm of the intel office. That's true. But what it will lead to is that they'll start melting. And some of them are already running and leaving ship. There already are some names mentioned. There is a guy named Amurbek Mazambek from Uzbekistan, who is a commander of 64th Brigade that was stationed in Bucha, one of those Russian detachments that was there. Daily Mail and other Western articles published that. They say that he was one of the top-level commanders who was giving orders for all these atrocities. We do have the data. I cannot fully confirm that. I would say we're investigating. But I can tell more that we actually know everybody. We know everybody down to the platoon command. We already have their names and addresses. And now we're figuring out who gave which orders. It's also doable. We have radio intercepts, we have conversations, we have locals who did describe as much as they heard, as much as they know. We also have locals who were collaborating with Russian forces, and they were doing that because we asked them to do that. That was our approach. We needed more data, so some people were acting as double agents. And we do have video cameras. Bucha is an interesting place, right? So there were video cameras there. Well, yes, we do have a lot of video material. So we'll figure it out. People are saying sometimes the sound disappears when we speak together. I'll stay quiet so you can say more. I hope it's not my internet, because for once in a while I'm in a place where they're saying it's good internet. Or maybe they hope it is good. But anyway, us and our partners are working diligently to investigate. Once we get data, there is no way to evade the prosecution, because the phones those people used, you can determine their position up to several meters. So you know the location of the dungeon or the basement where the bodies were found, and there were the same people, the same phone numbers, walking around it. Alexey, your video disappeared. I'm here. Hang on. There is a button there. Okay, good. Okay, great. We're live online for 19 minutes. We'll wait for more updates on this matter, on this subject. It appears to be one of the most important ones right now. Please keep us updated. So, adjacent question, we're waiting for more sanctions. Americans are giving more data about Putin's daughters. What is the probability of these sanctions to expand further? Polish Prime Minister suggested to throw everyone from joined Russia party, pro-Putin's party in Russia. He suggested to include every member of that party in the sanction list. But this was not met. That was not confirmed yet. Well, it's a collegiate decision in Europe, and it takes a while. The fifth package was accepted. Sixth is actively being worked. Seventh is also in draft. But I do believe that things will change. Things are changing now, because after Bucha you cannot stay neutral, because your electors will ask you a question. So, where were you? What did you do after that? And we'll make sure that journalists ask them this question. Countries and politicians and every person needs to make a choice. You cannot continue saying it's hard to tell, these countries are both in the wrong. Have you seen that other thing that floated recently, that somebody said Zelensky might be meeting Putin in Budapest to sign an agreement? I'm commenting Podolyak, who said it's an attempt to catch hype. The last idiot in Ukraine would understand that none of Ukrainians will ever sign anything again in Budapest, because we do have memory from the previous Budapest memorandum, because right now we're being hit with missiles, air-to-surface missiles, and other ones that we gave to Russia based on the previous Budapest agreement. It's a little-known truth. Not a single agreement will be signed in Budapest. You can pick an Antarctic station, you can pick an International Space Station on the other Russian station that are sunk in the Pacific, any other city, but not there. Right now, they're already asking the leader in Hungary why they're not taking different measures, why they're not refusing Russian carbohydrates, energy products, because this is read now in a different light. This is read now, if you do not do that, you affirm and you support the murder of innocent civilians and children. Because after Bucha and Borodianka, you cannot stay neutral. You're either for the murder of civilians or you're against it. And they have now to invent the weirdest things to explain their position, or really be transparent and say what do they support, what do they not support. Because the question now is, do you support murders of civilians? Personal responsibility still works. And when media asks these questions, and electors will ask these questions, there'll be a blowback. What do you think about the Bucha massacre? What did you do to prevent that? And we'll make sure they do ask these questions. We will not let them forget. All right, we've been online for 22 minutes. How much time we have? Can I run already? All right, how much? Just one question. I can answer one more question. All right, one question. We always ask it every day about the armament and any progress there. There are a lot of talks. I'm sure we'll get these armaments. The question is how soon and what will be there. Not a single politician can now refuse that because it's hard. No aesthetic matters, reasons, or other reasons. They're pretty rational, though. People will be asking them these questions and they'll be demanding that support. So some of them, the only way out is they don't have anything Soviet or Russian to give us, so the retraining is easiest. But they do have some equipment and they're discussing how to get it here. Although I remain pragmatic and I will believe it when I see these weapons in the field. All right, 24, almost 25 minutes live. 210, almost 215,000 people watching us. Please share, subscribe in all your social media and subscribe to both of us. Let people far and wide see that information. Alexey, thank you. See you tomorrow. All right, see you later.